Yo, what up guys? It's boy Neil. Ayon sa nakikita nyo ngayon sa screen, ang lesson natin for today ay Laplace transform. It's not Laplace, it's Laplace kasi basa ko dyan dati is Laplace. It's Laplace. Useful siya sa field ng engineering and I think sa other fields kasi kino-convert niya yung mga integral and differential equations into algebraic equations. Ginagamit siya actually para makapag-analyze ng mga complicated circuits, na may different sources, mga ganun. And yung sa pag-interpret, I think, ng mga signals. Okay. So, for now, kasi meron tayong positive to negative infinity to positive infinity, di ba? Pero since we're talking about time, sa ngayon, kasi ginagamit din siya sa pag-convert ng something na nasa time domain to frequency domain and vice versa. So, bale, for now, um, lahat ng infinity natin dito is positive. Okay? So, let's see where we at. Okay, here we go. So, meron tayong three ways para mag-solve ng Laplace transform. First is by definition, which is yung pinaka-useful. Kapag hindi nyo na alam kung anong gagawin, balik kayo sa by definition, masasolve nyo yung differential equation na binigay sa inyo. Oh, yun, ginagamit din siya sa pag-solve ng differential equations. Okay? Kasi yung differential equation na yun, di ba, may mga y prime, double prime, Chenes pa. I-convert niya yan sa algebraic equation and algebra na lang. Manipulate na lang ng algebra. Okay? So, first is by definition. Okay, by definition. So, ano nga ba ang Laplace transform? So, what? That is not straight at all. Okay, so, sorry, it's been a while since gumamit ako na to. Let's see. What? There you go. Wow, what? I draw straight lines like a pro. There you go. So, definition of Laplace transform is for every function of t. Wait lang. Okay, for every Laplace. What? For every signal or for every function of t, meron siyang corresponding complex Chenes meron siyang complex valued function. Okay, so ito na yung naka-Laplace transform. Convention nga pala, kasunduan sa mga baliw, mga inyero. Sa mga mathematicians. For yung mga small letter, yan yung ating signal or yung function na hinahanapan natin ng Laplace transform. And capital F is yung mga capital letters, yun yung mga complex valued na or yung na Laplace transform na nahanap na yung Laplace transform. Yun na yung mismo yung Laplace transform. Okay? So, for every function of t, there's a corresponding complex valued function, capital F of s, which is equal to the Laplace transform of function of t, which is equal to, ito na yung definition niya, the integral from 0 to positive infinity, e e raised to negative st, function of t dt. Alright, ito yung sinasabi kong balik-balikan nyo if ever if ever tag dito, hindi nyo na alam kung anong gagawin, kung hindi nyo na maalala kung anong property, kung hindi nyo na maalala kung ano siya sa table, mga ganun bagay, balik kayo dito, i-substitute nyo lang yung function na given sa inyo dito sa f of t, f function of t, then masasolve nyo na yan, okay, using integral kung hardcore kayo. This is if s is a complex number, right? If s is a complex number, okay? Kasi yung function of hindi siya basta dapat complex number. Dapat yung complex number na yun is wherein kapag in-integral siya yung makuha nyo. Okay? Kung saan nag-make sense yung integral. Okay? So, by definition, what if, first natin is, what if given tayo ng a is a constant. Okay, given tayo ng a is a constant. If a is a constant, Then, meron tayong Laplace transform ng A. Okay? If f of t natin is equal to A. Okay? So, by definition, the integral from 0 to positive infinity ng e raised to negative st a dt, since ito yung f of t natin, this is our f of t. Okay? Then, equals sa, since integral ta, balik tayo sa ating mga memories sa integral. Given a constant number, multiplication ng constant number, lalabas natin yung constant number. Then, 0 to infinity, e raised to st dt. Then, after that, pwede natin alisin infinity by using limits. Okay, since it's positive infinity, para makuha natin yung positive infinity, kailangan natin i-limit. Okay? So, from 0 to something na palapit na sa infinity. Okay? So, kung isipin yung pinakamalaking number na alam nyo, may mas malaki pa doon, until you approach infinity. Okay? So, limit b as b, ito yung number na lumalapit sa infinity. Okay? Integral ng 0 to b, which is, well, approaching positive infinity. E raised to negative st dt. Okay? Then, this part, itong part na to, pwede natin gamitin yung substitution. So, let u be equal to negative st. Wait lang, guys. Sorry about that. Medyo may sakit ako ngayon. Okay, so, differentiate both sides. Du is equal to differentiate down by term ko. I can't really remember. What's the term for that? I think it's, yep, differentiate. Sa terms eh, no? Yung mga terms na yan eh. Ayan, so bale, makakakuha tayo ng a multiplied by limit as b approaches positive infinity ng diba, ito magiging integral from 0 to b ng e raised to u, tapos s is a constant, multiplied by negative du over s. Tama ba? What? Tama. Then, magiging labas natin yung constant and we'll be left with 0 to something that approaches positive infinity ng eu du. This one is just negative 1 over s eu. But what is our u? Negative 1 over s is e raised to negative st. Okay? So, yan yung ilalagay natin dito. Negative 1 over s, e raised to negative st, and indefinite integral, definite integral, so sorry, 0 to b. Okay? And siguro naman naalala nyo pa kung paano to. Positive infinity. And sa definite integrals, di ba, itong nasa taas, isa-substitute natin sa lahat ng t. Sa lahat ng t na nandito, since we're looking for function of t. Nasa taas yung b, then subtract by 0, itatranspose natin sa lahat ng t. Okay? So, first off is yung b natin. So, e raised to negative s. Since negative st transpose ng b, it will be sb. And minus negative 1 over s, e raised to negative s times 0. 0 as long as s is greater than 0. Mamaya ako sabihin kung bakit s must be greater than 0. It could be less than, but well, for now it must. Limit na b 0 tapos okay, 1 over s, let's just copy this. Sabi sana mag-shortcut pero wag na. Diba? Negative times negative is positive 1 over s. Then since since negative s times 0 is simply 0, this one, anything that it's raised to 0 is typically just 1 actually. So it will be plus 1 over s raised to 1. Okay? As long as s is greater than 0. So bakit siya dapat s is greater than 0? Okay? Sabihin ko na ngayon. Hindi, mamaya na lang talaga. Okay? Ngayon, pag-evaluate ng limits is isa-substitute nyo yung kung saan siya nag-a-approach. Tama. Okay, so since b is approaching infinity, for example, negative to, diba? Negative. So, side note tayo dito. Side note. Soundtrack na yan. Side note. So, e raised to negative sb, diba? And b is approaching infinity. So, say, yung b natin is 1 million, 9 gazillion, zillion, 9, ganun kalaki. Ibig sabihin, yung e natin, lumiliit. Diba? Kasi negative. Are we good? So, paliit siya ng paliit as it approaches 0. Diba? Magiging 0.00001 siya or something, which is actually 0 na rin eh. Diba? So, what's gonna happen? Ito, whole function na to, pwede nating sabing 0. Diba? Kasi yung 0.000 blah 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 in practical use is simply, well, 0. Okay? So, magkakaroon tayo, ba't ko ba ni-slash yan? Magkakaroon tayo ng a multiplied by 0 plus 1 over s as long as s is greater than 0. Okay, so just multiply magkakaroon a over s as long as s is greater than 0. Siguro naman dito nakita nyo na kung bakit s must be greater than 0, di ba? Kasi kapag less than 0 siya, magiging undefined. Alright? Magiging kahit equal to 0 lang siya, di ba? Okay, I mean, pag 0 siya, magiging undefined. Pag less than 0 siya, magiging negative. Okay, since we're talking about positive, the positive side of things here, so positive na tayo since dun muna tayo sa madaling maintindihan. This will be our first definition. So if your function of t is a constant, you'll get this. Okay. Second. Alright, so for our second example, second definition, what if we have this? Okay, and a is also a constant. Okay, a is still a constant. Okay, so by definition ulit, gawin natin 0 positive infinity, e raised to negative st, lagyan sa loob, e raised to a times t dt. Okay, ngayon dito, since eto sa taas, pwede natin siya gawing, napakita ko dito sa gilid yung mga tumatakbo sa isip ko. Diba? E raised to negative st multiplied by e raised to at. Pwede siya maging e raised to negative st plus at. Labas natin yung 8, labas natin yung negative. Yeah. So, magiging e raised to negative t multiplied by s minus a. Hindi naman nakikita sa screen. Let's move it. Let's move it there. Yan. Okay. Diba? Pag nagmamultiply, Given na a raised to 2, halimbawa, multiplied by a raised to 4, pwede siya maging a raised to 6. Diba? Ina-add natin yung exponents. Okay? So, ano ulit? 0 to infinity, we have e raised to negative s minus a multiplied by t dt. Okay, and limit na natin to. Limit b as approaches infinity na integral 0 to b ng e negative s s minus a d t. Okay, so paano tayo siya solve? Substitution. Okay, so u is equal to negative, negative ng s minus a t, yung ating exponent, and our du will be equal to, since constant tong dalawang to, s minus a dt. Yep. Okay, so limit, what we'll have is just, then shortcut ko na kasi ang lalabas din naman dyan is, wow, nakakahilo na pala. Is parang ganito lang din yung ginawa natin dito. Okay? It will be the same. So, shortcut ko na siya dito. After nyo evaluate yan, magiging e raised to u du lang din naman yan. Nakalabas tayo dito. So, nagiging, excuse me, negative 1 over s minus a e raised to negative s minus a t, definite integrals. Tapos, oops, sorry. Limit b approaches positive infinity. Then, substitute, evaluate nyo yung definite integral. It will be negative 1 over s minus a. Sa t nyo siya, substitute. So, it will be e s minus a times b plus, so shortcut to na guys kasi minus times negative, this one to negative tayo dito, diba? Naka negative tayo dito, since minus tayo pa nag-evaluate ng definite integrals, magiging plus. Okay, then yung e natin magiging 1, same case ng andito natin. Okay, magiging e raised to 0 kasi good, tama. Kasi, yung t natin dito is magiging b, right? And b approaches infinity, positive infinity. So, it will be so big. So big in a way na maliit siya. What? Sobrang liit niya. Okay? Habang lumalaki si b, mas malapit siya sa 0. Okay? Kasi e raised to negative something. So, negative, pinakamalaki. Something raised to negative pinakamalaki is lumalapit na sa 0. Okay? I think that's right. Let me just check here with my calculator. Raised to negative 5 something. Yep, it's 0. Pero siya i-check sa calcu. E raised to ano yung chinek ko? E raised to negative 500 is 0. 0 na siya agad. So, imagine it approaches infinity. Positive infinity. So, sobrang laki nun. So, 0 na rin yan. So, e raised to 0 is just simply 1. So, meron tayong 1 over s minus a. Okay? So, dito naman is s must be greater than a. Sabihin ko mamaya bakit. So, evaluate the limits. So, ganun ulit, diba? Sabihin natin, it approaches infinity. So, dito pa. What? Ito pala sa first part na to kaya siya naging 0 kasi, well, yung definite integral natin. Okay, but in the next step, ganoon na rin ulit. B approaches positive infinity. So, this whole thing is 0. This whole thing here is 0. cancel that, it will be 0. So something multiplied by 0 is simply 0 plus 1 over s minus a, um, and that will be the answer. 1 over s minus a, as long as a is greater than, as long as s is greater than 0. Bakit? Kasi kapag equal sila, mag-0. Pag less than, may negative. Okay? And we're looking at t is greater than 0. So s must be greater than 0. Explain ko bakit. Test taas. Diba? For every function daw of f, what? For every function of t, small letter f of t, meron tayong complex valued function na capital F of s. Okay? Ngayon, si t dito is greater than 0. Okay, it should be greater than 0. It must be greater than 0. Therefore, si s natin, yung lalabas pag Laplace transform natin, should also be greater than 0. Okay? So, okay. So, in the next tutorial, we'll be tackling more of this chenis. So, see you in the next tutorial.